Fill me in on the last few weeks of Jimmy James's life. After the rise and fall of Cash Money Danger McStinky, what has Jimmy James been doing in the wake of the destruction of Anguis?
I think it's been a busy few weeks, because I think it was like a 3-day travel to get back from Anguis's building. And I think during that time, it was a lot of silence because I know Danica was pretty pissed at him. And so he had a lot of time to think about what he's done. And I think he did do a lot of thinking. So when he got back, I think he kind of sat down with his most trusted advisors, Ish and Janet. And he kind of discussed what the plan was going forward now that Anguis was incapacitated, at least for the time being.
So what does that look like exactly?
So I think first he kind of had a meeting with both Ish and Janet to basically explain that with Anguis out of the way, at least for now, he needed to make sure that they were growing as much as possible. So he had Janet send out scouting parties basically to find other people in Anguis's realm that they could pull into New Jamestown to really start growing it. And at the same time, he has Ish kind of pulling together a hand-picked team of people because after the last adventure and Jimmy James losing all the control, he realized he needs people he can trust. So he had Ish kind of go around New Jamestown and find volunteers to begin more or less being his squad members, I guess.
Right. And that is actually where we are going to start this adventure today. Approximately 2 days after you assign Ish the task of gathering this squad, as you so delicately put it, he comes in to your home in a panic, in a sweat. He bursts open the door and says, "Jimmy James."
Oh God, what is it, Ish?
Town square.
I'm naked.
Now. Wait, what? You're naked?
Give me 1 sec, Ish. Hold on. I gotta get, figured out. So Jimmy James changes and then follows him to the town square.
Fantastic. And Jimmy James, what you see in the middle of town can only be described as a terrible, terrible sight. Because you see Danica lecturing people.
Oh, shit. I meant to talk to her about this. Fuck. I was supposed to do this days ago. Jimmy James is going to go up to Danica. He's not going to let this just slide. He's going to be like, "Danica, my house, now."
While she is in the middle of town, lecturing people?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you burst through the crowd, much to the crowd's discontent, and as you get to the middle and Danica sees you, there are tears in her eyes, and she says, "Jimmy James, I'm so very glad to see you."
Why is that, Danica?
Well, I wanted the people to hear from you since you were also there. What happened on that fateful day? Jimmy James, for my entire existence, I thought deep in my heart that I was the person who was supposed to lead others to salvation. I imagined myself to be the chosen one. But I know now that is false. My existence has never been to teach my will upon others. It has been to teach the will of Cash Money Danger McStinky, who gave his life so that we could promote. And at this point, she is extending her arms into the air, and she finishes with, "a better future." And Jimmy James, to your horror, the crowd is applauding Danica.
Max, I want to be 100% clear. I hate you.
Danica turns back and addresses you again and says, Jimmy James, these people would love to hear your experience with Cash Money Danger McStinky and all the good that he brought to you in our few short days together.
Danica, can you and I speak alone for 2 minutes?
She turns back to the crowd and says, the next time we gather, I will make sure to have listened to all of your stories about the good that Danger McStinky brought to New Jamestown. And we will join hands and we will pray that our existences may be equally as Cash Money. Dismissed. And the crowd starts to wander away.
Danica, how much do you remember of what happened?
What do you mean?
Do you remember that Isaacs was the one who sacrificed himself to save us?
Isaacs played a role, of course, but Cash Money Danger McStinky was the one who successfully infiltrated the, security system of the temple and was able to allow us to get to Isaacs. His role was so very, very important. You see that, of course, don't you?
I do. Fuck, I do. Yes, he was definitely important to it. But, Danica, what's your game here? What is the plan?
The plan? I'm not sure I follow what you mean. My plan is to simply take what Cash Money gave to us, this chance, this opportunity, and deliver it out into the masses. Give the people something to hope for. Isn't that all that we can do here?
Danica, you're right. That is all we can do. And I want to work with you to do that. And I need your cooperation.
Jimmy James, you have nothing but my cooperation. Perhaps later we can sit down and I can write all about your personal experience with Danger McStinky. I think the people would love to hear from you and how it was for you and him.
Danica, I need your cooperation to save these people, not only give them hope. Danica, I promise that if you stand by my side, if you work with me, if you don't undermine me in any way, I promise you that once my goals are complete, I will preach nothing but Cash Money and everything you believe you saw in him.
She stares at you unnervingly, blankly, and says, "You are the de facto leader of New Jamestown. I would never seek to undermine your authority. What must you think of me, Jimmy James?"
Danica, I hate to break it to you, we never got off on the right foot, so I'm still not sure which foot we're on there. And honestly, in the last, before Cash Money's death, his untimely, tragic death, I thought you were going to kill me.
Why would you ever think something so absurd?
Because, Danica, you're kind of hard to read.
Again, she stares at you blankly and says, I'm simply not sure what you mean. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to prepare my next sermon, but later we should sit down and, again, I'll get that eyewitness account from you. Okay,
Before
Jimmy
you go,
James?
Can you remind me why he stayed behind?
Because he knew something that we didn't, Jimmy James. That's one of those things that I just need to figure out, but I know he was sent to us for a greater purpose.
All right, Danica. We will have that conversation sometime soon.
Absolutely delightful. And she kind of clumsily walks off back into town. Ish comes up behind you and says, So, how about that,
If anyone asks, we did not leave Cash Money behind. He chose to stay behind. Do you understand?
Yeah, loud and clear. Does she know that, though?
I don't know. Honest to God, I don't know. Keep an eye on her. Keep two eyes on her. I don't trust her at all.
Okay, will do. Good hunting, Jimmy James.
Fair sands.
And this continues on for a little while now. It has not been an easy few days, to say the least. Mm-hmm. And while you sleep fitfully, you are visited by a figure, a blue deer, who has visited you several times before now. And the figure says, Hello, Jimmy James. It is so good to see you again.
I'm sure it is. It's been a while.
It absolutely has. However, I feel now may be the best time to proceed. If you will indulge me, of course.
I will, but first I have questions that I need answered.
Of course.
To start, is Anguis dead?
Killing a great prince of hell, particularly in his own realm, is no easy feat. No, Anguis is not dead. However, I can certainly guarantee that it will take him quite some time to get out of the hole that he himself fell into.
Alright, well, I didn't think he'd be dead, but, we can hope. Lacrimosa, I don't think I've ever asked this question, but it's one that's been on my mind since, since a long time ago. Last time I was on Earth, I ran into a demon. I don't remember his name, but I remember he said something about killing a demon. And he said only one has been killed. Do you have any clue how that demon was killed?
Jimmy James, I specialize in knowledge of the past. I have
You what?
intimate accounts. That's my whole thing. I deal with the past. I see all. It helps me sort of predict the future. How did you not know this? How did you possibly not know that about me?
Did you not mention that when you should lead with that when you introduce yourself? Don't say your name. Say I am the demon of the past.
Okay, hi. I'm Lacrimosa. I'm the demon of the past. Hello. Are we good now?
Yeah. So are you kidding me? Okay. So you know what happened?
Of course.
Do you mind enlightening me?
I'm afraid that for the next phase of the plan, I will be able to have your question answered, but I'm going to need something in return.
All right, but first, I do have one more question.
Please.
You've said that we met while I was alive. So you remember Ernest?
Her expression turns sour and she says, "Yes, I remember Ernest."
Now, I don't know what happened between you two. I remember something happened last time I was on Earth, but I believe that I can trust him. And I need people that I can trust. Do you happen to know where he is?
That is one piece of information that unfortunately, off the top of my head, I'm unfamiliar with. The people down in hell, Jimmy James, are countless, seemingly, but I will put out the word and we will track down Mr. Hawthorne if you believe it will better you.
At the very least, I think it'd be nice to see him again.
By the next time we speak, I will have that information for you.
Thank you. So, what is it you need from me?
Your associate from your last adventure, Cash Money Danger McStinky, was in possession of a very interesting artifact. A revolver, I believe you call it?
Yes.
A pistol?
Yes, I have it on me, actually.
Delightful. Objects such as those are very rare to make their way down into hell, so it is quite fortunate that you happen to come across one that was given to you willingly, no less.
Yeah. Quick question, do you have any clue how he got his, since, you know the past?
Yes, a series of trades, bartering, and, as far as I can tell, outright lying to countless people landed Cash Money Danger McStinky with that weapon.
Okay. Did he happen to get it in New Jamestown?
No, I do not believe so.
Alright. So, what exactly about this revolver is important?
You said you wanted information about the deceased Prince of Hell, Papillon, and by your own accounts, you happen to know someone else who possesses the knowledge.
I do. Well, I met him once and then I shot him. We're not on the best of terms.
Correct.
So I don't know if talking to him would be a good option.
Talking, no. Threatening, and then sending a message to his superior, yes.
Isn't he a demon, though?
Correct. That gun itself will not do anything, especially since it has no bullets. Have you ever heard of a location known as the Infernal Forge?
Is the Infernal what?
Forge? Like, he makes metal?
No. Why would I have heard of that? Is that...
You've spent 100 years down in hell, you've never thought about doing any sightseeing?
Most of the sightseeing I do ends me face down in the sand, being attacked by some stupid half-snake cat stupid monster. So no, sightseeing isn't on my bucket list.
Well, I would recommend adding a list to your bucket, telling you to pay it a visit, and have the master of the forge meld for you a bullet from the metals there.
And this master, they'll just do it.
Not for free, of course.
Do you know what I will need to do to get him to... or them, I don't even... Is it a demon? Like, is...
More of an entity, but It's not a human, if that's what you're asking.
All right. How do I get this entity to give me this one bullet?
All requests are processed differently. The Forge Master will require a price that they think is necessary for the task.
For someone who knows the past and can predict the future, I like you, Lacrimosa, but honestly, I feel like you hold out on me a lot.
It could be your left leg. It could be your never-born first child. It could be all the memories you had before you arrived in hell. Truthfully, I have no idea what sort of price will be put on you for the bullet.
All right. One last question.
Shoot? Haha.
Oh, I hate you. All right, gotta. Stolos. What's he been up to?
Truthfully, I was hoping you could find out some information about that as well. I believe he is meddling in the affairs of mortals again. Picking more innocent souls and forever changing their lives in terrible, terrible ways.
He has no clue what he's doing.
If you happen to find out their names, these new individuals, that information would prove invaluable.
I'll keep my ears out.
Delightful. Well, I will send you on your way, and be on the lookout for Mr. Hawthorne.
Thank you.
Do not disappoint me, Jimmy James.
I won't. Good hunting, Lacrimosa.
Goodbye. And the vision fades. The next day, you awaken. Janet turns to you and says, "You were tossing and turning last night. What happened?"
Well, had a conversation with, you know who?
Ah, is this another task?
Yeah, it is. And we're gonna kill ourselves a demon.
She looks at you. You can see a hint of anxiousness in her eyes. And she says, "I want to come with you."
I wouldn't want anyone else by my side.
Good. Who else is coming?
Well, I expect Ish. That does, however, leave us in the issue of who's in charge while we're gone. Also, hopefully by now, Ish has gotten a squad together. We'll see if maybe he hasn't. And then there's the question of bringing Danica along and figuring out if maybe that works better than leaving her here and brainwashing everyone here.
Well, I guess I'll pack something if I can. Just let me know when we're going to leave, okay?
I will. I'll go talk to Ish and, I don't know, figure this all out.
All right, so you track down Ishmael, who is... Man, I don't even know how Ish spends his days. Well, I guess he spent the last few days gathering a small group of people.
I think Ish... So I think this is one of the problems with New Jamestown. It's that, like, Jimmy James trusts so few people that, like, the few people he trusts do, like, all the work. So I think Ish is running around doing, like, everything for everyone. He's, like, planning new buildings with people. He's settling disputes between people. He's handling trades. Like, all this stuff that's going on that he's just, like, probably exhausted. And then he gets dragged on adventures with Jimmy James, which is definitely not Ish's forte. I think Ish is sad and tired, and I don't know, he just loves Jimmy James too much to tell him.
Good to know. Before we jump into the scene, I do just want to tell you that no matter what you end up picking within the next few minutes, I do want you to know, whatever you do, that like this scene, however you want to set this up, there will be consequences. This is the telltale scene.
New Jamestown will remember that.
New Jamestown is going to remember this. So you see Ish talking to a few people. These two individuals are both making a lot of like waving arm gestures. But by the time you walk up to them, Ish pats one on the back and sends them on their way. Says, "Morning."
So he sends them over to Jimmy James, right?
What's that?
He sends one of the guys over to Jimmy James, he said?
No. He sends them both on their way.
Oh, like away from him. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. So he walks up to Ish, and he like kind of tries to be like kind of secretive about it, and he's like, "Were you able to get me that squad together?"
Jimmy James, I got a few people together for sure, but Miss Jones has created something of a hurdle with her whole new fancy cash money religion nonsense.
What exactly is the hurdle?
The hurdle is that woman has numbers on her side, and even though she's not mobilizing them into anything, I'm trying not to avoid a conflict by asking people to side one way or the other.
Ish, I have an idea.
Okay.
I have to go on another mission, and Janet and I are going together.
Okay.
I want you to stay behind and run New Jamestown while I'm gone. And
Are you sure?
And I'm gonna take Danica with me.
Oh. Are you sure you don't want me to come along as well? I'm sure we can get someone to watch the town for like a week or so.
I need someone that I can wholly trust in this position, and as of right now, it's just you and Janet, so I need you to stay here. I need you to make sure that... Do your best to make them forget about the whole cash money thing, and I'll see what I can do about Danica. I'm not gonna try and kill her first. I'll try and talk to her. And hopefully we can make this work.
Ish leans in close to your ear and says, "You've tried talking to her before."
Maybe this adventure will change her feelings on something. I don't know. I don't feel like it'd be safe to leave her here while the three of us are gone. I very much see that we do that, we come back to a sign that says cash money is our savior, and who knows what else. Do you understand I need sanity when I get back? There's going to be a time, Ish, when I may not come back for a long time. And I need to make sure that this place is good to go, whether I'm here or not. Do you understand?
Ish looks at you and says, "Jimmy James, these missions... What the hell are you trying to do?"
I told you, Ish, we've got some scores to settle.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna stay behind. I'll try and get some more people into the squad, and I'm gonna do right by you.
Ish, while I'm gone, get some people to start building walls.
Walls. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm sure we can come up with something.
All right. I'll see you in hopefully just a few days.
All right. Be safe, Jimmy James. This. Don't. Don't push yourself. I know you have scores to settle. I know there's stuff that you gotta do, but you've built something here.
I've built something for a few hundred people. We gotta build something for more than that.
Don't overexert yourself. I'll see you. And he starts heading away, flagging down some people off in the distance to try and talk to for general Ishmael purposes.
General-ish purposes.
Generalish purposes. And so, with Ish out of the picture, are you also going to be recruiting Danica?
Yeah. I think Jimmy James needs a minute before he does that. I think he's gonna like go somewhere, like just basically into somewhere where no one can see him. He doesn't go back to his house. He just like goes somewhere and he just kind of like stands there for a little while, and he just like breathes a lot.
Makes
and then
sense.
he goes to see Danica.
All right. So, what does Danica's home look like?
I have to imagine. For listeners, Max and I have talked about the architecture of New Jamestown, and more or less the whole place is built underground. It's kind of dug into the sand and then fashioned that way. And I think Danica has probably not the shittiest one, but like she clearly doesn't care about her house. I feel like she's constantly out on the streets talking, so she's like in her house like only to sleep. So she's just got like a crappy bed and like 3 types of the same robe on her dresser or whatever, and that's it. And it's like one room.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. So you find her not in her, well, I guess if she only sleeps there,
yeah, I have to,
she's probably not in her house.
I think
so
he probably like tracked her down.
Yeah. And you approach her.
Danica, how you doing?
Good morning, Jimmy James. Isn't it a lovely day?
It's hot, definitely hot. It's probably less hot than yesterday, so that's nice.
Yes, I do believe this is the exact temperature that Cash Money held so dear.
Probably, yeah. Danica, you remember, obviously, you remember the mission we went on with young Cash Money.
Of course.
And I'd like you to join me. I'd like you to join me on this next adventure. On this next mission, I'd like you to be by my side.
Truly delightful. Where will we be going?
I'll brief you on the way.
Excellent. When shall we be departing?
I don't know, like an hour?
Delightful. I will see you then.
Danica, I'm sorry for for what happened to Cash Money.
There is no need to be sorry. We did not deserve him. We were not ready for what he had to say. I am going to devote the rest of my existence to making sure that everyone who is alive or has ever been alive knows and worships what he stood for.
All right, Danica, just remember, you're from Texas.
She gets probably the biggest grin you have ever seen on her face. And she says, "We're from Texas. We're from Texas. We are from Texas." And she starts walking away as if nothing ever happened.
Jimmy James definitely has the weird, like, his eyes are wide, like he just opened a box that he did not expect to, like, be filled with just spiders.
Yeah, that's... I think Jimmy James has definitely opened a metaphorical and maybe physical box of spiders just right here, right now.
That's foreshadowing, kids. Danica turns into a spider at the end of this adventure.
Oh, come on. We weren't supposed to talk about that yet. Anyway, so is there anything else, any other business that you have in New Jamestown before you depart on your next adventure?
Give me a minute. Actually, I'm going to look that up. No, I don't. Hold on. This is very confusing. I guess I don't.
You, Danica Jones, and Janet Jingleson. I always forget her last name.
I hate the fact that you let Beth name her because none of us ever expected her to come back.
Yeah, no, if you told me that a character from an adventure who died in, February of 2018 was going to still play a role this is going to be out in October. So October 2019, I would have told you were fucking crazy. But here we are. That's role-playing games for you.
Especially with the last name Jingleson. Come on. Damn it, Beth.
It was such a write-off name and such a write-off character. Fuck. So, the three of you set off for the Infernal Forge. How do you know where it is? I don't know. You ask people for directions, and they point you towards it.
I'm glad you did. I think there's signs. I think there are signs in the desert.
Do you let's both be world builders here real quick. Do you think that there are some sort of roads and pathway systems through the various realms of hell? Probably, right?
So I don't know much about the realms outside of Anguis's. So I think there are very few to I'll be honest, I 100% imagine Anguis's realm as sort of Mad Max like. So I imagine cars have been driving on these roads. But in Anguis's realm there are no cars, so it's just a bunch of footprints. And so people just follow the same footprints even though they don't need to. And then they kind of just put signs in some places. Some dude. Okay, I like to think Anguis did it on the weekends.
Right, yeah. Anguis himself was walking through, making sure that there were paths around and all that good stuff.
I think that at one point, Anguis did care about his realm.
Yeah, but probably mostly for his demon's sake.
Yeah, he probably had things signs that went to shelter, and it was really a torture chamber. That was technically shelter, but also a torture chamber.
Right.
So yeah, they get there by using signs and roads.
Perfect. How is conversation on the road between your more unusually oriented party?
I think Danica is her usual creepy self. But I think Jimmy James flip flop, because how many days does it take to get there?
It's about a 4-day travel.
Jesus. So yeah, Jimmy James definitely like flip flops between I hate this awkward silence, so I'm gonna have a conversation with her, and I know she loves Cash Money, so maybe we should talk about something related to that. And flip flopping between that and God, I hate talking to her. She's so creepy.
Right.
And then with Janet, I don't think Janet and Danica get along at all.
Oh, no, most certainly not. Janet has no tolerance, has never had any tolerance for Danica's, both childishness and just absurd, strange tendencies.
Mm-hmm. I 100% think that when the three of them met up to leave, Janet just gave Jimmy James this look that you can only like comprehend if you've been basically dating someone for 100 years. And Jimmy James is like, fuck.
Yeah. So, with all that being said, 3.5 days into the journey, the temperature begins to heat up significantly. The sand of the desert, the path you are walking on, gives way to harder stone, covered with dry cracks, as the land itself morphs into, just this hot, dry. I mean, it's still desert-ish, but volcanic. That's the word I'm looking for. Everything begins to get more volcanic.
Damn.
And a few hours before you arrive at the Infernal Forge, the air around you, your vision, the sky itself begins to get obscured by smoke. Hot, terrible, like burning your eyes smoke. But you can see it on the horizon, the volcano that hosts the Infernal Forge, spewing just countless amounts of lava from its peak. And as the three of you push through this, you see it, Jimmy James, finally, after your annoying ass journey with Danica. A monstrous forge, hooked right into the base of the volcano, and a being, this kind of spectral white being that rests on the lava's surface. Blobular, I guess, would be a good word to describe it.
For a moment, I thought Blobular was his name.
No, Blobular is not this creature's name. But they are round and bulbous, especially like their head. Their head is massive, and then they have these kind of smaller, rounder limbs for like body and arms. But they are massive. Don't get that wrong. They are absolutely huge.
All right, so just for image sake, do they kind of look like Big Hero 6?
The fucking Baymax?
Yeah. Because that's what I'm imagining.
Baymax is not the worst depiction for what this creature looks like.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
As your team approaches, the monster leans down from the pool of lava where it rests, and revealing a mouth of drooling, pointed, jagged teeth, they say, "If it isn't the legend himself, Mr. McGrath."
Jimmy James looks around very confused and just says, you've heard of me?
'Tis no easy fate to trap a great prince of hell, inside of his own realm no less. Many of us wonder if you will be making the rounds. Perhaps I am next.
Well, and he kind of like looks at Danica as he says this and says, I did have help, but hopefully you won't be next. I'd really like for you to not be next. But I was told that you may be able to help me.
The creature roars with laughter and says, "Your optimism is delightful. Truly, a man of your stature, or even a team of mortals against myself. I would love to see it sometime, should we all come out of this encounter okay. But help! Few come to me for help. What is it that you could possibly seek?"
Well, I have this revolver. And he pulls it out, and he kind of quickly glances at Danica, and he says, it's called the cash money gun. And
The cash... The what?
the cash money gun.
Aren't cash and money the same concept to humans?
They are. Yes. That's all I've got.
So you have brought to me a weapon called the redundant gun. Why?
It's not called the redundant gun. It's called the cash. You know, it doesn't matter. It's a gun, and I need a bullet for it. Preferably several bullets, actually.
Several bullets.
Yes.
And tell me, Jimmy James of Earth, what do you have to offer me in exchange for such items as these? Truly, there is no way any of my kind could benefit from an individual such as yourself possessing bullets.
Well, these aren't just like any kind of bullets. I didn't even tell you what they're for yet. So, listen, please. I need these bullets to kill a few specific demons.
Again, the beast roars and says, "So exactly my point. You intend to have me betray my own kind."
First off, you're demons. Kind of expected. Second, what do you want me to call you? Real quick, what's your name?
God, what is this creature's name? I kept hoping I could come up with something.
Bulbasaur.
Words.
Nintendo, sue me.
Dude, come on. We get to do this like once every 2 months, and I have you on, and you pull a Beth.
What else should I? What better name do you have than Bulbasaur?
I was trying to get a list of diamond names.
Diamond names. Let me get you some.
I'm having trouble getting the fantasy name generator to do what I need it to.
I'm just gonna look up a daemon. List of theological daemons from Abrahamic religions. Holy fuck. That's interesting. Fucking history, man. How about Björ, the 10th spirit who teaches moral and natural philosophy?
Is there anything in there that you're talking about, like the 72 demons, right?
I'm actually talking about, I don't even know what he's from. Let's see.
All right, never mind. I got it. We're good.
All right, what do you got? What do you got for me?
I am Vagdron.
All right, Vagdron? Vagdron.
Vog. It's an ah sound.
Vagdron. All right, so Vagdron. How long have you been doing this?
Longer than you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, I know.
Countless
Oh my gosh, you guys
millennia.
all have the same answers. Yes, you've been doing this for longer than I've existed and could imagine and blah, blah, blah. How long, in your terms, of your lifetime, have you been doing this specific job at the Infernal Forge, it's called?
For the majority of my existence, I have tended over the forge as its master.
And don't you want something more?
Are you actually attempting to get me to change occupations? No, I don't want anything more.
I'm not telling you change occupations. I'm just saying take a step up. Come on, you've been doing this for your almost entire existence. You know how long I've been around? I've been around 120 years, right? You know how much my life has changed in the past 120 years? And you've been around for longer than I can imagine, according to you. And you've been doing the same thing for all that time. Don't you think that maybe a change of pace wouldn't be the worst thing in the world? Hashtag can I roll persuasion?
You can roll persuasion with 3 penalty die.
All right, here we go. Oh, fuck, that's a failure anyway. Damn it.
What did you roll out of? Yeah,
all right.
Take all
It
three,
ended
just
up-
in case you fucking fumble.
It ended up as a failure.
Okay. The demon says, I am loyal to my own kind. I would never attempt to usurp my superiors.
That's, I can't argue with that. I can't. Been there, done that, So, what do you want from me for these bullets?
For you, Jimmy James, I will require someone you love.
Max, I fucking knew you were gonna say that. I realized it as soon as we showed up at the forge. I was like, fuck. I can give you someone I love. I can, actually. And he turns to Janet.
Janet takes a step back.
And he says, you know I love you. But I need you to get these bullets.
What? What is he saying exactly?
Whoever he gives the bullets to. Am I right in this? Real quick. Whoever he gives the bullets to, it needs to be, they need to give up someone they love or something they love.
Is that really more important than what we have?
I'm willing to die for this. You know what we can do with these bullets. You know what we can change. Hold on, wait a second, actually. I just had another idea. Stay right there. And he turns around and he turns to Danica real quick.
Danica stares blankly at you.
Hey, Danica. Real quick. Actually, hold on. I do need to clarify one more thing. And he turns to Vagnon. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Vogdron. Excuse me. Quick question. Did you say someone or something?
Someone.
Shit. This still might work though. Give me one and does it matter, like, if like someone in this group were to die, it just has to be someone that person loves that they give up, correct? And you'll give them that person the bullets, correct?
Jimmy James, you are the one who is here for the bullets. Someone you love must be sacrificed for your cause.
So I couldn't, like, just between you and me, you know, I couldn't just, like, say Danica gives up, like, her weird, like, love for this guy that, like, died on the last adventure we were on, and, like, I couldn't do that.
Danica turns and says, "Excuse you, Jimmy James. You never said anything about me having to give up. You said you would join me."
Listen, you know, I promised that after everything was done, and everything's not done yet. You know? I was really hoping he was whispering there, to be clear.
I don't believe you specified whispering.
He's a giant demon. You can't really whisper. He turns back and he whispers. And he says, "Just to be clear, we can't do that, right?
If you truly desire the bullets from the forge, it has to be a sacrifice."
All right, okay. Give me a minute to think on this and talk. And he kind of huddles up with Danica and Janet and says, Anyone got any ideas? Mainly to get out of this, you know.
Janet stares at you coldly. Danica stares at you blankly.
Danica, can you step away for a moment?
Danica sidles away.
Thank you. Janet, I think we can get out of this on sort of a technicality.
She takes a step back and sizes you up.
Over these past 100 years, I've gone through a lot. At the beginning of these 100 years, I killed my first person and had to deal with losing my best friend at the time and my best friend up to that point. And for a long time, I didn't care for myself. But since I've been here, you've taught me to care for myself, to love myself. Which is why I'll give myself up. If you take the bullets back to Ish.
Janet says, "Wait, that's crazy."
Well, it doesn't look like there's another option I'm willing to go down. I'd rather lose myself than lose you.
Jimmy James, this is your plan. You fucking lunatic. No one else is going to be able to carry this out if you're gone. You know that.
Then fine. I can't lose you. I can't lose you to this. I'm not willing to do all this for... if it means me losing everything. Everything I love besides myself. I can't be the only one that comes out of this alive. I'm not going to leave you behind, Ish. Hell, I won't even leave Danica behind. I'll leave Cash Money behind, though. I can't lose everything here. I can't be the last one who's standing at the end of this murder spree that I have to go on to complete everything. Yes, there's more after that, but right now, I'm not willing to give you up. I'm not willing to give you, Ish, Danica, anyone, except for Cash Money, I guess, anyone else up for that. We can find another way. We can. Someone else found another way. We can find another way. I'm not losing you for this. I can't lose you.
Janet has been building up tears in her eyes as you've talked, and she says, this thing that you want, it's, of course, it's not, it's probably the hardest thing anyone has ever attempted. It's not going to get easier, you know that, right?
I know, but we've... It's been 100 years. We can wait another 100 if we need to. This feels like the fast way, but it feels like the way that we lose everything in the process.
But it's not just you, and it's not just me. Is it? It's everyone.
Danica, fuck. Alright. Sorry. Now I'm just imagining a Jimmy James Danica romance, and that's really gross.
Dromance.
Alright. I think there's a cat in the window right across from me staring at me.
It wants you to make the right choices.
Alright, I'll do it for you, kitty cat. Do it for you. Janet, you know I can't ask you to do this. I won't ask you to do this. I can't.
I know you won't. I need you to promise me something. 2 things.
What is it?
I want you to find her, my daughter. I don't know if she's here. I don't know if she's still alive. But I want you to find her, and I want you to tell her everything.
I promise you, I will.
Tell her I'm sorry. Tell her I wasn't a good person, but I did something good.
I will tell everyone I can.
And promise me you are going to see this through to completion.
I will.
She hugs you tightly, tighter than anyone has ever held you before, Jimmy James.
He 100% does the same. I think he's, at this point, like, he's on the verge of holding all his tears in. He's just like, it's like that time where you can tell he's crying, but you can't, he's refusing to let himself just, like, bawl his eyes out.
And however long the hug is, it ends all too soon. Janet turns back towards the monster whose name I forgot, Vogdron, and says, "I'm ready."
At that, Jimmy James falls to his knees and just, like, all the tears start coming.
Danica walks over to you and places one hand gingerly on your shoulder as she watches. Vogdron reaches one hand out of the lava and gingerly picks Janet up and says, "You can stay for this, or you can go, should you not wish to witness what is about to happen."
Jimmy James doesn't move.
Okay. Vogdron examines Janet and says, "Yes, your soul will be a powerful conduit to spark the forge to life. What you are doing here, I truly hope is worth it." Janet glances back at you, Jimmy James, just for a moment, as she is placed into the lava. There's fortunately no scream that comes from her mouth. However, whether that is better or worse is up to you. And as Janet Jingleson is consumed by the forge, it springs to life. And likewise, Vogdron seems to be filled with some sort of energy and begins setting to work on delivering you 6 bullets created from the forge. The process takes about an hour. Is there any word spoken between you and Danica?
No, I think about, like, 45 minutes in, Jimmy James stands up.
Okay.
And that's about it.
When the task is completed, Vogdron blows gingerly on his craftsmanship and passes you 1 clip's worth of bullets.
These'll kill any demon.
Any lesser demon. To kill a great prince would require much more than measly bullets. And yet, I suspect you will still find a way.
Are you a lesser demon?
He raises himself out of the lava, towering over you, and says, "As a matter of fact, I am."
Jimmy James takes a deep breath, loads the bullets into the gun, and turns around and walks away.
Okay. Danica follows you. And you trudge away from the volcano, away from the forge and Vogdron, and begin to head in a different direction. Somewhere not nearly as smoggy, not nearly as dry, strangely eerie, but calming in a certain way. After a few days of travel, Jimmy James, you arrive in a dark forest. This is one of the first times in your century down in hell, just about, that you've seen any sort of plant life that could be alive, or at least looks to be. This realm is shrouded in darkness, but even still, the trees that are everywhere block out any sort of light that could possibly shine down from above it. Danica says, as the two of you begin to work your way in, so, what are we doing here anyway?
Danica, what was your demon's name?
Baal, I believe.
Baal? Wait a second. Did Baal make grass? Not weed, to be clear. Did he have grass of Baal?
Yeah, that was an item that we had in season 1.
Oh shit! Jimmy James used that at the very end. Like, he tried to escape with that, and if I remember correctly, it did not work. But back to what they were talking about. I, as you probably know, had a demon handler myself back in the day. And, well, when he brought me back, he introduced me to someone. Someone who had information that we need. So we're going to visit him.
Delightful. I truly hope this encounter goes well.
Danica, I need to be 100% clear on something. At the end of this demon will be dead.
I see.
Will you have my back?
She smiles at you blankly and says, I always have your back.
Jimmy James just continues walking.
All right. I know we've used that song from season 1 so many times, but I think it's always a good one. Hi everyone, it's Max here for your regularly scheduled ad break. What's up? I hope you guys are enjoying The Long Way Home 2, Part 2. I think it's just going to be The Long Way Home 2. Thanks to Brett, of course, for coming back as Jimmy James. Always a pleasure. The last few weeks, huh? They've been wild. We've put out like almost 5 hours worth of content in 3 weeks. That's a lot for us, but we'll start getting back into the regular weekly continuous adventure shenanigans starting next week. So we hope you've enjoyed this interlude, I guess you could call it. There's so much to look forward to. In the meanwhile, while you're dying of anticipation as to what happens next, both in The Long Way Home and in the main show, tell a fucking friend about this show, you fools! Why haven't you told your friends? Is it me? Is it me? It's me, isn't it? I still care about you. No, I do know so many people who've told a friend about the show, and that's kind of support. That means the world to us. So thank you all. Word of mouth, we truly cannot ask for a better way to communicate the show. Anything you can do, from your posts on Twitter and Tumblr to just telling your friends, thank you all so fucking much. You guys rule. We appreciate the hell out of you guys. What else do I want to talk about this week? I don't know. I feel like that's the big one. Patreon, of course. Patreon.com/10cast. We want to go through and we want to thank all of our beautiful Critical Success and Snake Eyes patrons. If you want to get thanked every week, go to patreon.com/10cast. And we'll thank you each and every week, our Critical Success and Snake Eyes patrons. So let's thank our Critical Success patrons, Alexander Getty, Joseph Stowell, and Robin. Thank you all so much. And our Snake Eyes patrons, Brett Abraham, Niji Dragon, Eminem, Lucas, and Emmy. Thank you all so much for your continued support of the show. You guys help keep the show running on a month-to-month basis, and that's so good. Thank you all so much for that. Shit, I don't know, leave us a rating and a review on iTunes. That'd be a huge help. Also, if you want to go on Patreon right now, we actually have a half-hour-ish special called Freetown September 2019, which is sort of our apology for not having content in the month of August. So it's kind of like a little bonus shenanigan that we put out for everyone to listen to for free. And also, it contains just some stuff about like what's going on with the cast right now and how we're doing. Because, you know, sometimes real life rears its ugly head, even though we'd love for you all to live with us in Cincinnati, Connecticut, and hunt realms and stop wishmakers and find Captain Punches and all that. So if you want to just get a little insight into what's going on in our lives, go to patreon.com/10cast. Listen to Freetown, September 2019. Other than that, let's get back into the madness, I think. Join us next week for the first episode of High Tide. It's Arc 3, Season 2, Arc 3. Is there anything... Oh, hang on. Is there anything else that I want to say? I don't know. It's so fucking wild. We've been doing Season 2 for, 5 months now? It's so cool to just, be doing a whole other adventure. In case anyone's curious what the long term looks like, for season 2, it's kind of going to be divided into 2 halves, I think. The first half kind of wrapping up some of the big major character plot points, and then the second half of the season is going to be something really cool. It's gonna be exciting. There's so much to look forward to in this season. The hardest part of being a DM is not being able to talk about all the cool things that you want to do. All right, now I think I'm actually done. So let's actually get back into the madness. Join us next week. High tide, baby. Bring a swimsuit. How are you going to set about the task of finding one specific resident in this particular branch of hell?
Well, honestly, I think what Jimmy James' plan is he's just going to kind of walk up and be like, hey, do you know a Demetrius?
To what? Like a demon?
To anyone he sees. Okay.
So as you're wandering, a ragged-looking man bursts onto the path in front of you. He says, "Oh my God, who are you?"
What matters more is, who are you?
Ted. Ted's my name. Ted Birmingham. I work. Are we near Boston? Is this near Boston?
Oh, Ted. Ted, how long have you been here?
I think I was in a car crash. I don't know where my car is, though. Do you have a phone? Something I can use to call my wife?
Ted. He puts his hand on Ted's shoulder. Like, he's facing him and he puts his hand on his shoulder and he says, Ted, we're all dead.
Whoa, man. And he takes a step back. I don't want any trouble.
No, I'm glad I'm still intimidating. No, Ted, my friend and I here, we died over 100 years ago. Almost 100. I can't keep track. We died a long time ago. In the 20s. In the 1920s.
It's kind of dark to be heaven here, don't you think?
Jimmy James does not say anything.
His face drops and he says, "Oh."
Ted, I'm assuming you don't have anywhere to go.
No.
You mind joining us? We have somewhere we need to go, but you can join us for that, and then we have to head back home. Which is, to be clear, still in hell. So, it won't be great, but I don't know. There'll be friendly faces.
Ted nods quickly. I think kind of grateful to have anyone to talk to, and says, Who are you looking for? Where are you going?"
I'm looking for a entity named Demetrius. You wouldn't happen to have heard anything about this thing, would you?
Is that like a ghost?
It's a lot worse. A lot worse, Ted. Come with me. You're about to learn a lot.
Okay, what are you doing then?
He's just gonna keep walking. Ted doesn't know anything.
Well, you asked him like 2 questions.
What other questions? I'm like, he would add like he knows he's from Boston, but like he'd ask like personal questions about Ted, but he doesn't know who Demetrius is.
I didn't say
like
that.
The only thing he cares. He says it's a ghost, and I asked, "Have you heard anything about him?" And he said, "Is that a ghost?"
Well, never mind.
Based on what you said, Jimmy James would not ask another question about it. He would after some silence, Jimmy James would ask about his personal life and like anything.
All right. Ted weaves you a colorful story of his existence on Earth. Damn, I have another character named Ted too. I just literally picked a random ass name. Now I have 2 Teds to contend with.
I hope the 2 Teds meet.
Good lord, that's going to be confusing. If Ted ever comes back again.
Real quick question. I do want to know, does Ted ever allude to anything that explains why he went to hell?
Yes, but it's a strange and confusing thing to you, Jimmy James. Because a lot of what Ted's saying is going right over your head. Something about a Facebook affair, as well as stealing money from something that Ted refers to as a computer program.
He says computer program, and Jimmy James literally turns to him and says, "Why would you steal money from someone who just like does math?"
You have no idea what a computer or a program is.
Yeah, a computer, it's the people who do math.
Ted says, "Wow, you've been down here a while, haven't you?"
Yeah, well, how? Why would computer change in a like what would we need people to do math, like it doesn't make any sense.
Ted shakes his head and tries to change the subject and says, "Okay, so if this thing's not like a ghost or something, what are you looking for exactly?"
Ted, 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 Ted. Do you know what a daemon is?
Oh yeah, I mean I went to church when I was little. They got big red horns and little pitchforks and all that.
Well, okay. Well, they were a little off on the descriptions, but they're pretty big. And so, we're going to go find us one.
What do they look like then?
I feel like Jimmy James would have a general idea of what Demetrius looks like, but I do not remember what Demetrius looks like.
He looks like a mini.
He looks like a baby owl. He looks like a tall, but not super tall, owl, and I believe he wears a tuxedo.
Oh my God! Is that what that hooting was?
Maybe. Where'd you hear hooting, Ted?
Well, I'm so glad that you asked me.
I like to think that they were walking for like a day or two before this came up.
Ted points back towards the direction where he originally popped out and says, "Come on, follow me. I might still be able to get back there."
All right, let's go, Ted. Let's go.
And as Ted takes you back through the woods, you start to hear it too, Jimmy James, this collection of hooting. And your small group stands at the edge of a small, very small clearing in the forest, and you see a few owly minions of Stolas talking in a circle, and one of them, Jimmy James, is your target.
Does Jimmy James know because he's wearing a tuxedo?
Yes.
Okay. He turns to Ted and he just gives him gives him the shush signal. Does Janet understand the hand signals that they have?
Danica?
I'm sorry, Janet's dead. Oh, Janet's dead. Oh, Janet's dead. All right. Yeah. Does Danica understand the hand signals?
Yes.
All right. So, Jimmy James does not have a plan yet, so he can't communicate it to her.
All right, well, take a second. Come up with your plan.
I feel like the best option. How many of these owl things are there?
There's 5 of them.
All right. Jimmy James is going to try and communicate to Danica in hand signals to basically say, create a diversion.
Okay. Danica clears her throat, steps out into the clearing, and says, "My fellow sinners, well, I suppose you are all creatures made of sin, aren't you? My name is Danica, and I am here to tell you all about Cash Money Danger McStinky." All of the owls abruptly turn towards her.
Okay, wait. Can we clarify something? Are Jimmy James and Ted out of sight?
Yes.
Okay. Good. All right. So while she's doing that, he's going to kind of signal to Ted to just not move.
Ted stays perfectly still.
And then Jimmy James... So where in this whole group, where is Demetrius?
Demetrius is on the... So assuming that all the owls are looking towards Danica, and we'll say that's front, Demetrius is at the back of the group.
Perfect. So Jimmy James is going to try and sneak around the back of the group.
Okay, you do so.
All right. And
actually, you know what? Maybe you don't do so. Roll stealth with a bonus dice for Danica's diversion.
All right. Oh, that could have been so good. So that ended up with a 0-4.
Ooh, very nice. You do not make a sound as you creep around the back.
Nice. So he's gonna he's gonna try and like whisper. He's gonna get behind a tree, right? Because they're in a forest, right?
Yes.
All right. So he's gonna get behind a tree, and he's gonna kind of whisper Demetrius's name. He'll be like, Demetrius.
The owl turns, staring blankly towards the forest.
Does he start walking towards the tree?
Yeah, he slowly starts heading over.
So, like, if he hears him moving, he's gonna be like, Demetrius, I need to talk to you.
Demetrius pokes his owly head into the forest and says, "Hello, is someone there?"
Hello there, Demetrius.
Demetrius freezes up and turns towards you and says, "Oh, for fuck's sake."
Demetrius, I have a very important question for you.
What? What is it?
Do you remember the last time we met?
Do I remember being shot in the chest? Yes, as a matter of fact, I do.
Good. Now then, you told me about the last time a demon was killed. I need you to recount that tale for me right now.
You traveled 5 days from Anguis's realm to ask for a story?
I did.
Demetrius... I'm sorry, no, go ahead.
It sounds like it'd be a pretty good bedtime story where I'm from.
Papillon was a great prince who resided over the moth people. And Papillon, as did many of us, well, the princes, the dukes, the what have you, decided to tempt a mortal with a realm with the end goal of trying to escape onto Earth, a story I'm sure you've heard before.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Papillon struck a deal with someone who practiced dark magic, I suppose you could call it. And instead of dying, this individual only became half dead, soul trapped in a rotting body. Truly terrible. Papillon did not realize this, and as they attempted to escape, became trapped between their realm and hell. Stuck for 2.5 years until your former comrades and some Russian individual who loved horses, from what I've heard, closed the gate, slicing poor Papillon directly in half, killing him instantaneously, as half of him was absorbed by the destroyed core.
Wait, so it was Ernest and Dandy who did this?
Yes, and Harvey, and whatever that other person with the horse's name was. Truthfully, details aren't necessarily my strong suit.
Of course it was them. Why? Alright. You say details aren't your strong suit, but I need you to remember all the details you can. So think hard. Is there anything you're missing here that I might want to know? You know, to tell
I can't.
children.
I don't think there's anything else. There are no more cores left. Well, there aren't... there are no more cores left.
Demetrius. Are you trying to lie to me here?
Of course not. Why would I ever do something so like that? That would be absurd.
Demetrius, you should tell me what you know. It would just make my stories more accurate.
Demetrius says, I'd say it's been nice catching up with you, Jimmy James, but truthfully, I don't think we have anything left to discuss.
I think we do, Demetrius. And he kind of puts his hand on the revolver in his holster and he says, how many more cores are left?
Are you going to shoot me, Jimmy James?
Hey, it was a good time last time, and I know it hurt you, so maybe I'll try again this time.
Let me be perfectly clear right now. Bullets hurt. Yes, absolutely. But they are not worth divulging Master Stolas's secrets to some impudent little human.
What if I told you, Demetrius, that these bullets do a little more than hurt?
I would tell you to kiss my ass. There's no way in hell, all of the realms of hell, that you could have possibly come up with something that could injure me more than a week's worth of recovery.
Maybe I couldn't have come up with it. But maybe a demon could have.
What are you talking about?
You haven't heard? You haven't heard about I overthrew Anguis?
I heard that Anguis had a nasty accident.
Did you hear why?
Something about poor architecture, from what I hear.
Poor architecture certainly helped, but that wasn't all. I was there, Demetrius, and don't you for 1 second doubt me. If I wasn't there, that wouldn't have happened, and I had a lot of help from a man named Isaacs, but because of us, Anguis is in that hole. Don't make one mistake about it. So I'm going to ask you again. How many cores are left?
Demetrius sneers at you and says, "To the best of my understanding, a lowly little great knave of hell found himself a core and stored it away for 100 years. Granted it to someone out in Sinsaba.
The town is cursed. Do you happen to know the name of this knave?
Teo. Teo Sinte.
You guys have last names?
No, the full name is Teo Sinte. He goes by Teo.
Oh. You guys should come up with last names. How many of you are there, by the way? Oh, by the way, and then he pulls out the gun and he shoots him.
All right, I will have you roll for your gun. Take a bonus dice.
Okay. All right. So 13. So that is a hard success, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, hard success.
Yeah, there's no way Demetrius beat that. All right. Before Demetrius has a chance to give you the exact numbers of demons in hell, Jimmy James, you pull your gun out and you plant one directly between his owly eyes. Demetrius...
Is he...
Wait, sorry, no, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, is he dead? But continue what you were saying.
Yeah, Demetrius stumbles backwards, does not have time to utter a single word before he drops on his back. Dead.
Well, I guess it's time to go. Jimmy James turns around and tries to sneakily run away.
By yourself?
Oh, well, he's going to try and get back to Ted. And hopefully he can get Danica's attention from there and then book it, all three of them.
All right. You do that. You rush back up to Ted. You motion to Danica, who bids farewell to her new owly cult members.
So just to be clear, no one heard the gunshot?
Well, shit, I guess they didn't, huh?
You know what, Max? I bet the bullets are silent. It's a thing we should establish right now.
They're not silent, but I think Danica was sufficient enough of a distraction. Not to mention that even if they did hear the bullet, most demons don't really have a concept as to what a gun is.
Okay.
And the three of you travel back to New Jamestown, arriving 10 days after your initial departure.
I think on the way back, Jimmy James is definitely thinking a lot about Janet. I don't think he says much.
Ted asks some questions here and there, but Ted can read the room and see that all is not super well.
Danica doesn't try and like tell him about Cash Money, right?
Surprisingly, no.
Okay, good. Good. Yeah, so I think the way back is kind of a lot of silence for all three of them.
And you arrive back in New Jamestown and quickly track down Ish, who says, Hey, how'd it go?
Ish, we lost Janet.
What?
She gave herself up. We lost her, Ish. We lost her.
What, is she down a hole or something? We can go get her. I'm sure that she can't be gone.
No. She's gone forever.
Ish looks like the wind was knocked out of him, and he kind of shakily tries to give you a hug.
I don't know if Jimmy James like. I think he does hug back, but he does one of those like desperate hugs, where he's just like holding on for dear life.
And Ish says, "What do we do next?"
Next we kill Stolos.
If you want to get thanked every week, go to Patreon to go. What? That was a bad one.
I wonder how that crack sounded on a recording.
I guess there's one way to find out, huh?
Put it in bloopers.
Whoa.
But that doesn't matter. What matters is that I'm doing this.
The worst timing I have ever heard in my entire fucking life. Keep recording. Hang on, I'm gonna go shut them up.
Oh my god.